Light, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio.
Morning from this side, and it is wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Today happened the 30th day in the month of September, and which happens to be the last edition of Freshlight in the month of September. Permit me to welcome you to Freshlight again. My name is RISQAT, SULAIMON.
I'm SOWOLE. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio.
Don't forget, on Freshlight, this is where we give you different stories of the day, where we get to check out the national dailies. We've gone through different stories. Today will be an exception. We have copies of newspaper in the studio. We have the Vanguard, the Punch, and the Nation newspaper. On Freshlight this morning, I will be kickstarting with the Nation newspaper. On the Nation newspaper front page, we have article on fishing expedition. Tinubu tells U.S. court. You can find this on page 4 on the Nation newspaper. It also has this rather story, insists on reversal of order, asking Chicago Varsity to release academic records to ex-VP. You can also find this story on the page 4 on the Nation newspaper this morning. Lagos bans street trading, hawking statewide. Page 30 captured this story, and it has rather story, orders closure of Ladipo Mushi markets. You can find this on the page 30 on the Nation newspaper. And away from that, taking the bold headline this morning on the Nation newspaper, on strike, Labour adamant shuns rally called by government. You can find this on the page 2 on the Nation newspaper this morning. We are not in violation of any court order, LLC insists. You can find this on page 4 also. Tinubu's Sultan strike will cause severe hardship for masses. You can also find this particular story on the page 4 on the Nation newspaper. And away from that, picking Mohbad case, Corona begins sitting on singer's death. You can find this on page 2 on the Nation newspaper. Confusion shrouds health condition of tourism minister. Page 2 captured this story. APC intervenes in Ondo deputy governor's impeachment saga. Page 30 captured this story. Court grants Ayedatiwa leave to serve assembly. You can find this particular story on the Nation newspaper this morning. Demolitions, court order Kano's government to pay shop owners 30 billion naira. You can also find this on page 2 on the Nation newspaper this morning. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper this morning, gunmen abduct 31 villagers in Niger attack. Page 3 captured this story. All of these and many more stories you will find on the Nation newspaper this morning. Going into the details.
The first story on the Nation newspaper this morning, article on fishing expedition. Tinubu tells U.S. court. President Bola Tinubu has urged the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois Eastern Division to reverse the order asking the Chicago State University, CSU, to release its academic records to a political opponent. Atiku Abubakar of People Democratic Party, PDP, Tinubu argued that Magistrate Jeffrey Gilbert, who gave the September 19 order while ruling on an application by Atiku, lacked any such power under Section 1782 of the U.S. statutes. It therefore asks Honorable Nancy L. Maldonado to reject Atiku's application. The prayers formed part of Tinubu's reply to Atiku response to his Tinubu's objection to the execution of Magistrate Gilbert's order in an application for discovery filed by Atiku. Atiku on fishing expedition, Tinubu tells U.S. court, The Nation newspaper.
Alright, on the Nation newspaper this morning, I'm picking my first story. I will be picking it from home because charity begins at home. Tension in Ogun as tribunal determines Abiodun Adebutu's fate. Anxiety and tension enveloped the premises of Ishabo Magistrates Court, Abeokuta, the state capital, as Ogun State Governorship Election Tribunal is set to deliver judgment in the petition filed by Honorable Ladi Adebutu of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, challenging the election victory of Governor Dapo Abiodun. The Nation reports that after 3 months long sitting and completion of hearing, the Ogun State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal received judgment for today in the petition filed by PDP's Adebutu against Dapo Abiodun of All Progressive Congress. Adebutu is praying the tribunal, headed by Hamidu Kunaza, to nullify Governor Abiodun's victory and declare him winner of March 18 governorship election in Ogun State. Adebutu, among things, he's also seeking as an order of the tribunal to overturn the election of Governor Abiodun, alleging that the election that brought him into office for the second time was riddled with violence, irregularities, and rigging. To read more of this, you can pick the Nation newspaper this morning. It has this headline: Tension in Ogun as tribunal determines Abiodun Adebutu's fate.
I'll study on the Nation newspaper. Process for picking my successor must be fair, inclusive. Obaseki. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has declared that the process of seeking a successor ahead of the September 21st, 2024 governorship election must reflect fairness, equity, and a sense of inclusion, while insisting that his administration's focus is to finish well and strong. Obaseki spoke yesterday in Benin while addressing Government House correspondents. Edo Governor, according to the top official of the state government, who spoke in confidence, revealed that Obaseki wanted as successor a Lagos-based renowned lawyer, Asiu Igbodalu, from Esaland, Edo Central Senatorial District, in order to ensure equity, justice, and fairness, since the immediate governor of the state, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, hailed from Edo North Senatorial District, and Obaseki, is an indigene of Benin in Edo South Senatorial District. The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Suhaib, a former member of the House of Representatives and ex-president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, of Edo North Senatorial District, insisted that loyalty to Obaseki had nothing to do with ambitions, governorship aspiration, while maintaining that he would veer next year and succeed his boss on November 12, 2024. Process for picking my successor must be fair, inclusive. Obaseki, The Nation newspaper.
And away from that, I will be picking another news. Confusion shrouds health condition of Tourism Minister Ade John. The health condition of Minister of Tourism Lola Adejohn is shrouded in uncertainty. Some reports have claimed that the minister was hospitalized at the Federal Medical Center, Jabi, Abuja, after experiencing acute poisoning. The report said she was rushed to the hospital shortly after she started manifesting symptoms of poisoning, adding that she had spent 4 days at the facility as of Friday morning. The report was, however, debunked by a source in the ministry, which claimed that the minister is only attending to malaria and nothing else. The source, which refused to disclose the hospital where Adejohn is receiving treatment, said the minister was responding to treatment. It stressed that the minister, who just returned to the country following her appointment by the President Bola Tinubu, had been struggling to acclimatize to the Nigerian environment. Dispelling the fear of acute poisoning, the source said Adejohn was only receiving treatment for malaria, adding that nobody in Nigeria is immune to the disease. To read details of this news, you can pick the Nation newspaper this morning. Confusion surrounds health condition of Tourism Minister Adejohn. The Nation newspaper has the details.
From the Nation newspaper, we move on to the Vanguard newspaper. October 3rd, nationwide strike. Labour's Chance Pally with FG. De Jonathan Lumumba Olu Onuwari gathered in Bayelsa for Africa. Edo 2024, process of seeking my successor must be fair, equitable, inclusive, or Baseki. Obore Vori wins Omoagege reacts. Navy arrest 8 stowaways inside Europe-bound ship. Sam Larry opened up on Mohbad. Strict negotiation with bandit. Stop playing politics with our lives. Northern leaders warn FG Zamfara government. Says it's insanity to engage in negotiation that never works in the past. Negotiations will embolden terrorists. Nigerian at 63, where we went wrong. Agbakoba, Okori, Osuntokun. BB Niger, my daughter disappeared after winning 100 million naira grand prize. Pina's father cries out. All these are one of the story you can see on the front line page of Vanguard newspaper. Go into the details this morning.
All right, going into the details on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, I will be picking this first news on 10th National Assembly committed to Nigerians' unity, growth. This is coming from Rep. Idahosa. Rep. Dennis Idahosa, APC Edo, has described the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, as a pan-Nigerian who always works for the growth and development of the country. This is contained in a statement on Saturday in Abuja by Idahosa, congratulating the Speaker on the occasion of his 60th birthday coming up on Sunday. Idahosa, representing Ovia Federal Constituency in the National Assembly, said that the Speaker, within a short time in office, had been able to galvanize the lawmakers irrespective of political party affiliation. He noted that it was not a coincidence that Abbas shares the same birthday with the country. He added that since his relationship with the Speaker, he had never failed to notice the burning passion for a greater country in him. Whenever issues about Nigeria comes into discussion, the lawmaker further explained that on the assumption to the office as the Speaker of the 10th Assembly, Abbas put modality in place to ensure close working relationship between the executive and the legislature without necessarily compromising the independence of the legislature. He further said the Speaker patriotism towards the unity and development of the country should be emulated by the well-meaning Nigerians desirous of change in the fortune of the country. To read more of this story, you can pick the Vanguard newspaper this morning. 10th National Assembly committed to Nigerians' unity, growth. This is coming from Rep. Idahosa.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Oyedepo advises universities on more research to solve society's problem. The Chancellor of the Covenant University in Ottawa, Dr. David Oyedepo, has advised Nigerian universities to strive to embark on more research in order to solve society's problem. Oyedepo told the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, on Friday in Ottawa that there was no need for universities to continue to engage in more gainful research. He said this was what would bring about food sufficiency, healthcare delivery, improved practice in agriculture, and shelter for all. He said, and I quote, "Every problem I have discovered has a solution, but without a problem solver, such problem becomes insurmountable. As long as we remain regimented, we will continue to be relegated," Oyedepo said. The Chancellor described university as a place where solution to society's problem are found and valuable added to humanity. He identified some of the society problems to include food needs, farming, healthcare, shelter, child delivery, and care, among others. Oyedepo advises universities on more research to solve society problems. The Vanguard newspaper.
Alright, taking my trip to Zamfara State this morning, fight insurgency with resolved awareness of federal government told. The coalition of northern group CLG has told the federal government as well as the security forces to fight insecurity with the resolve and awareness under the law, especially in Zamfara State. Chairman Board of Trustees of the CNG Nastura Ashiru Sharif gave the charge during a report presentation on the CNG findings and recommendations arising from its visit in Zamfara to the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawale. He said, "We urge the government and security forces to fight this insurgency with the resolve and awareness of their obligations under the law, as well as the knowledge that victory will only be pronounced when the nation achieves full cessation of hostilities, disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration into the entire region." Sharif expressed appreciation to the minister of his readiness to act on their findings and said this shows the seriousness of the federal government in finding lasting solutions to the security challenges in the region. Given the complexity of the security situation in the northwest region, the CNG is also proposing to the minister the need to deploy especially trained personnel and other resources in the region to ensure lasting peace and security. To read details of this, you can pick Vanguard newspaper this morning on Zamfara fight insurgency with resolved awareness, federal government told the state. Vanguard newspaper guided to us this morning.
Lastly, on the Vanguard newspaper, we'll go on a short commercial break. Nigeria at 63. Democracy will continue to gain strength in our nation. Buhari. The former President Muhammadu Buhari has prayed for democracy to continue to gain strength in Nigeria, especially now that the country celebrates 63rd anniversary of its independence. Buhari noted this in a statement signed by the spokesperson Garba Shehu on Saturday. The former president also conveyed his greetings to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the people of Nigeria on the occasion of the 63rd independence anniversary. On the occasion of the nation's independence anniversary, I send my warm greetings to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the people of Nigeria. He said, and I quote, "For 63rd year, Nigeria continues to inspire the rest of the continent with the creativity and diversity of its citizens, and now a long span of democracy rule. I am very optimistic that democracy as a system of government will continue to gain strength year after year in our nation. Happy anniversary," concludes the former president. Nigeria at 63, democracy will continue to gain strength in our nation. Buhari, the Vanguard newspaper. On that note, we go on a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll give you details on the Punch newspaper. Just stay with us.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in their bid to seek greener pasture abroad. To those quack in the traveling agency business, it is a rocket science. That is not our case at Tausaf Travels and Tour. We have in-depth details on how to successfully, without stress, help you process and secure your visa to anywhere in the world. Do you want permanent residential visa, visiting and tourism visa, student visa to places like Europe, America, Asia, Africa? It's no big deal to us at Tausaf Travels and Tour. Our years of experience and expertise speaks volume for us. Let's process and secure visa for you to UK, USA, and Canada within a twinkle of an eye. We offer Hajj and Umrah services to our Muslim faithfuls. What are you waiting for? Consult us at number 9 Tausaf Central Mosque, Sholanke Street, behind Laroy Hotel, Abiola Way, Abeokuta. 0802 733 0900 or 0806 578 4060. Stop wasting money. Pay for peace of mind. Talk to Tausaf Travels and Tour.
Gbogbo aláfẹ́ tó gbayì tó fẹ́ wọṣọ yìí ṣoge tó bágbà mu ló ń kọjá lọ sí House of Zion.
House of Zayana, the name I know when we talk of top-notch fashion, quality materials and class. House of Zayana, Letima Rojulowo Turkey wears, Egypt and Malaysia clothing, Dubai, àwọn designer bags lóríṣiríṣi, àwọn ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ bàtà tó jiná tí wọ́n fawọ́ original ṣe, àwọn aago kájọ́ tó ń ka wákàtí ọjọ́, designer sunglasses and perfumes, pẹ̀lú àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tóbìnrin àsìkò fi ń gbafẹ́ lò gbà. Mo débẹ̀, ojú mi ń ṣe kámi, èmi ni ó rà, èmi ni ó mú. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí ẹlẹ́sìn tẹ́ gbòógì gbọ́npa fashion tẹ́ wá nílò jàlábíà, hijab àti àbáyà lóríṣiríṣi. House of Zayana lẹ́ ò ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀ rà. House of Zayana wà ní 52 Ọlọ́run ṣògo road adjacent Redeemed Church Agape Parish Ọlọ́run ṣògo Abẹ́òkúta. Lórí Instagram House of Zayana 08165688618. House of Zayana, ilé ìtajà tá a ti ń tojúlówó aṣọ àti nǹkan aṣaralóge tí ń gbéni níyì.
Welcome back and glad to still know you are still there. This is Freshlight, where we get to look at different newspaper pages. We've gone through the Nation newspaper, we've gone through the Vanguard newspaper, now picking the last newspaper of the day on Freshlight. We're moving to Saturday Punch. On the Punch newspaper front page, we have tribunals decide Ogun Sokoto governor poll petitions today. You can find this on page 9 on the Punch newspaper. Strike may delay Atiku Obi's appeal, staff tribunal sittings. Page 9 also captured this story. Picking the top story on the Punch newspaper. Last minute move to avert strike fails. Labour shuns FG meeting. On page 4 captured this particular story. It's also another story. Labour leaders keep Bajabiamila Lalong wait for lunch. You can find this on the page 4 on the Punch newspaper. Aviation unions, bank workers, orders ready for shutdown. Page 4 also captured this particular story. And away from that, poor student parents seek tuition fees reduction as Independence Day gift. Page 20 and page 21 captured this story. How cooking gas explosion left me partially bland. This is not coming from me. This is coming from Emo Technicians. You can find this on page 27 on the Punch newspaper. On the entertainment page, we have Beyond the Mic, Inside Mohbad's Childhood Family Struggles. You can find this on page 23 on the Punch newspaper. Lastly, on the Punch newspaper this morning, Lagos shorts Ladipo market, 3 orders in 1 week. All of these and many more stories you find on the Punch newspaper this morning. And going into the details.
The first story on the Punch newspaper this morning. Last minute move to avert strike fails. Labour shuns FG meeting. The organized labor comprises the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress on Friday boycotted an emergency meeting with the federal government that was scheduled for 3 p.m. at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The federal government had called an emergency meeting with the leaders of the organized labor at the conference room of the Office of the President's Chief of Staff. Among other goals, Friday meeting was meant to talk the labor movement out of its planned nationwide strike from Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. On September 26th, the NLC and TUC disclosed plan to commence an indefinite strike on October 3rd to protest the cost of living crisis after the scrapping of petroleum subsidy by President Bola Tinubu during his inaugural on May 29, 2023. The union also directed their state chapter and affiliates to mobilize for shutdown of critical facilities and infrastructure such as airports, seaports, electricity grids, and fuel subsidy nationwide. It's going to be a total shutdown on the government's main demand of Nigerian workers and, in fact, Nigerians' masses, the union leader affirmed in a joint statement on Tuesday. Last minute move to avert strike fails. Labour shuns FG meeting. The Punch newspaper.
Okay, picking my first story on the Punch newspaper, I will be taking my trip to Oyo State. Obasanjo may not apologize to Oyo monarchs, ex-advisor Abimbola says. A popular professor of African languages and literature, Wande Abimbola, who is also former special advisor on cultural affairs and traditional matters to former President Olusegun Obasanjo, said clamor for Obasanjo to apologize for ordering some monarchs in Oyo State to stand up and greet their governor may not yield the desired results given his military background. Abimbola, a former vice-chancellor of the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, said he agreed with Obasanjo that monarchs should respect their governor, but that it would have been better if he spoke to the monarchs in private rather than the way he did in publicly. Obasanjo had agreed at the recent inauguration of the Oyo Isheyin Road project at the instance of Governor Seyi Makinde, expressed displeasure that the monarchs did not rise to greet the governor. He said, and I quote, "I greet the kings and chiefs here sitting. I'm grateful that you are here. Let me say this, wherever the governor is or the president, the king has to stand up. Stand up," he ordered them. So after the monarch stood up, he again ordered them to sit, which they did. Among the reactions that they greeted the action, the Council of the Yoruba Elders, Yoruba Council Worldwide, the Oluwo of Iwo, and the Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization, Afenifere, in separation, I beg your pardon, in separate statements described Obasanjo's action as unacceptable while asking him to apologize to the monarchs. To read details of this, you can pick the Punch newspaper this morning. Obasanjo may not apologize to all your monarchs, ex-advisor Abimbola says.
And lastly, from my side on Punch newspaper, the Punch Sports. Football. Lagos wins gold in boys-girls events. Lagos State emerged champion of the football event of the boys and girls categories at the ongoing National Youth Games after winning both final matches. Both games were played at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba on Friday. The girls from Lagos outclassed their counterpart from Ogun State 5-0 in a one-sided Southwest derby to claim the gold. The first half brace from Pace Effiong gave the team Lagos a 2-0 lead after 35th minute before Kemi Adegbuyi made it 3-0 2 minutes later. An own goal from Team Ogun in the 42nd minute made it 4-0 before Rodiat Yusuf sealed an emphatic win for Team Lagos after 45th minute with a brilliant strike. The men's team from Lagos, on their part, held their counterpart from Plateau State 2-1 to complete a double swap for the center of excellence. Lagos took the lead in second minute through their top scorer Fawaz Salami. Semilore Adewusi doubled the side lead in 27th minute before Plateau State pulled a goal back in additional time of the first half. Football. Lagos win goals in boys-girls events. The Punch Sports column this morning.
Alright, still on the Punch newspaper this morning, and checking through the Metro page, I will be picking the story "Deceased Lagos boy intestine not missing before transfer to lawsuit." ANPMP chair says. The chairman of the Association of Nigerian Private Medical Practitioners, Lagos State Chapter, Dr. Makinde Akinlemibola, tells Emmanuel Ojo about the controversy surrounding the missing intestine of a boy, Adebola Akinbright, who died on September 19, 2023. The case of the boy who died after his small intestine reportedly went missing during his treatment involves one of the members from the Lagos State House of Assembly ad hoc committee investigating the case directed the police to arrest. Well, it happened, according to an interview it happened to one of the members of the Association of Nigerian Private Medical Practitioners. The patient may so rest in perfect peace, and his family used the same hospital, Obitox, for a long time. The patient had been a problem earlier this year, on March 6, 2023, and was taken to Obitox. Before getting there, he was said to have taken some medication somewhere, probably not hospital. And then they found out through a scan done that there was an abscess, pocket of pus around the area of the appendix, which was operated, and it relieved the boy of the abscess. And the process, they could remove the appendix because of the abscess. So in the medical parlance, we all know that what it is. So it has to be left alone, because an attempt to remove it can even cause more damage, but it was treated confirmatively. That is with the medication and so on, and luckily the boy got better and discharged. But 3 months later, the boy came back with abdominal pain. Eventually, all things were done, and it was discovered that he had intestinal obstruction, which is also necessitated intervention, that is surgery. He was opened up along the line. It was found out that the appendix, which had been very difficult to remove at that time, was eventually removed, and another part of the intestine was also removed. To read details of this, you can pick the Punch newspaper this morning. It has this headline: "Deceased Lagos boy's intestine not missing before transfer to lawsuit." This is coming from ANP MP chairman, and this will be the last story on the Freshlight today on this morning. My name still remains RISQAT SULAIMON. I've seen you next month.
Thank you so much for listening to Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. I'm SOWOLE MOSHOOD. Do enjoy your weekend. Thank you.